Welcome to the City of Joliet City Council meeting for Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, with the Honorable Mayor Terry Darcy presiding. We have Pastor Kurt Hoover of Messiah Lutheran Church, 40 Hobart Road in Joliet, who will give the invocation, and when he is done, he will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please join me in prayer. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Lord, we as a community, as those gathered here today, we thank you for the work that you've done in this community, for the many faithful generations that have gone before us, for those that have filled these chairs before we were here. We give thanks. Lord, we pray that you would be with those who execute the many tasks that happen day in and day out to make this city run, that we might have water, electricity, streets to drive on, and many other things. Lord, we pray for safety for those who maintain our city, those who lead our city, especially for our firemen and our police officers, our first responders. Lord, we pray that you would be with us as a community and those leaders that are elected here. Lord, may the thoughts that go through our minds and the words that are expressed be of benefit to the community and the conversation. All this and more we trust to you, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Now I invite you to join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Darcy?
Here.
Councilman Cardenas?
Here.
Councilman Clement?
Here.
Councilman Hugg?
Here.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Here.
Councilman Moreno?
Here.
Councilman Mudrin? He's absent. He did let me know that he would not be in attendance this evening. Councilwoman Quillman?
Here.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Here.
Under Mayor is a proclamation to recognize the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, presented by Councilwoman Quillman.
Is there anyone here?
I think Pam is here.
I do. Come on up. How are you? Oh, good. Good to see you. Okay, let's get this. Okay, proclamation for the City of Joliet. Whereas the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, was passed on July 26, 1990 to ensure the civil rights of citizens with disabilities. With the City of Joliet affirms the principles of equality and inclusion for persons with disabilities as set forth and embodied within the ADA, the laws of the state of Illinois, the Disability Rights Bureau within the Office of the Illinois Attorney General, and the ordinances of the City of Joliet. Whereas numerous organizations in the City of Joliet work with constituents and communities to bring forth the promise of hope and freedom that is envisioned by the passage of the ADA. Whereas July 26, 2025 celebrates the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act with the first annual Disability Fair presented by the Committee on Citizens with Disabilities. Now therefore I, Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet, Illinois, on behalf of the Joliet City Council, do hereby recognize the celebration of the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act, dated July 1st, 2025, and signed by Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet. Congratulations. Let's see.
Thank you, Councilwoman Coleman.
Okay, we can hear you.
Thank you, Councilman, and became my dad for 35 years. My goodness, I was just a child. But I remember how hard people with disabilities fought to get that law passed. And let's be honest, we still have a lot of work to do. However, with the efforts of you and the citizens of Joliet, we will continue to make progress. I look forward to speaking to all of you at the Disability Pride Fair on July 26th at Bike Park. Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to visit.
July 25th at Bicentennial
July
Park.
26th.
Oh, 26th, excuse me. Okay. All right, Pam, thank you so much.
Okay, next we have a proclamation for Paraclete Ministries presented by Councilwoman Ibarra.
This is extremely exciting for me and everyone in District 5, especially on the east side. This woman is a powerhouse, but she's not only a powerhouse, she's a minister and she has her own nonprofit. So this is a proclamation. Whereas Paraclete Ministries, non-for-profit grandparents raising children, education, support, and resource group endeavors to meet the unique needs of grandparents and the children they are raising. And they held their first meeting at Joliet Central School, January 20th, 2019. And whereas grandparents raising children discover resources by partnering with churches, social services, and community organizations to address the unique physical, emotional, mental, educational, and recreational needs of grand families. And whereas grandparents and other relatives are often begin caring for their children with little or no warning or preparation. And whereas in Illinois, there are 263,890 children under the age of 18 living in homes where a relative is a head of household with more than 1,000 grandparents caring for their children. And whereas government entities address the unique legislative needs of grandparents and the children they are raising, and whereas additional legislative support has allowed the program to expand by establishing support groups and providing grandparents with information and referral assistance. Now therefore I, Terry Darcy, Mayor of the City of Joliet, on behalf of Joliet City Council, do hereby recognize Paraclete Ministries non-for-profit grandparents raising children and commend them for their service to our community. Thank you. Dated July 1st, 2025. Would you like to say something? Okay, thank you.
First of all, I just would like to express my appreciation to Mayor Dorsey and the council for this opportunity. We are here. We have our leadership here, Sherry Stilwell, who is our co-facilitator, our advisor, Adrian Cherniak, and our intercessor, Roberto Romero. And we have other grandparent support here as well. And we'd just like to thank you so much. If I could be allowed, I just would like to make one correction. In Joliet alone, there are over 10,000 it's 9,032 grandparents who are raising children in the city of Joliet. And so, and we need help, so that's why we're having our first fundraiser. So we just thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture?
Were you going to talk? Were you going to give the date? I'm sorry, Mayor. Give the date.
Can we get a picture?
Yeah, absolutely.
She didn't give the date of her fundraiser. Oh, okay.
Tell her.
Okay. I will. Thank you. Pastor.
We don't bite.
Okay, forward. Go forward a little bit.
Pastor?
Be sure to give the date and
Before
the
you
time
leave.
and the place before you leave.
For
Go
your
back to the
fundraiser.
mic.
Okay.
Mike's gone. You give it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Oh.
Okay, thank you. Yes, our banquet luncheon will be held July the 12th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Nico's Banquet Hall on Stryker.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much. You all
Congratulations.
are invited.
Thank you.
Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone who would like to speak on an agenda item? Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Damon Stunich, 430 North Center Street. I want to say hello to Mayor and all the council people for allowing me to speak. I'm talking about the firemen's contract negotiations that are ongoing and they're ready to pass it. I believe this is going to be the most consequential decision the city will make in the next 4 years. As a lifelong resident and business owner who's invested time, money, and commitment in Joliet, let me be clear, this isn't just about where firefighters live. It's about the health and future of our city. In about 2013, the city allowed firefighters to live outside Joliet in a contract agreement that helped balance the budget for a year. Though it balanced the budget, that contract weakened the city, weakened property values, school enrollments dropped, membership in community organizations decreased. The city council eventually corrected course and reinstated the residency requirement. They understood what many of us already knew. You can't build a strong city without people who are personally invested in it. When firefighters live in Joliet, they raise their families in Joliet. Their kids attend our schools. They improve their homes and take pride in their city. Their presence in our neighborhoods brings stability and trust. They shop in our stores, they eat in our restaurants, and pay taxes that fund the schools, the roads, the bridges, the public services that the city so well provides. When those people leave the city, all of that leaves with them. Families, students, involvement, accountability. Our economy suffers. Our schools lose enrollment. And the connection between our residents and public servants begins to fray. These are top-tier taxpayer-funded jobs, and this is about more than employment. It's about investing in our community. It's about making sure local families are building their lives right here in Joliet, taking pride in our city of Joliet, and contributing to Joliet's future. So I ask, why are we even considering reversing a residency policy that works? Why risk the progress we've made? In a nutshell, this contract is saying Joliet is a great place to work with high benefits, overtime, well-funded pensions, but isn't a great place to live. Has anyone asked the firemen why they don't want to live in Joliet? Have any of you thought about the message this is going to send people that might think about moving to Joliet, the middle class that we so dearly need? You know, for those, and this isn't just going to affect the firemen, there's approximately 900 union employees that will want the same deal. The financial effect on the Joliet is unforeseen at this time, and I don't think city staff understands that either. For those of you who look at your property tax bills, the fire department portion tripled this past year. What does that mean? If you own a $350,000 house, your property tax for the fireman portion went from about $180 to $600. Removing residency doesn't build a stronger fire department, it builds a weaker city. One with fewer resources, less pride, and a growing disconnect between the public and those sworn to protect them. Have you heard the term penny wise and dollar foolish? Allowing a change in residency will help with the city budget for the next year. Reversing the current policy will cost the city much more. Table this decision, go back to negotiations, and include the public on this decision. A lot of public doesn't like it, and again, I believe this will be the most important decision you make in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Good. Mhm.
Hello, Council. My name is Tom Knorr. I've been a resident of Joliet for 61 years. My family and I have owned businesses in Joliet for 30 years. 26 years ago, we purchased a small bar in Marycrest Shopping Center. We've been running that bar with very few problems. However, as all of you mentioned yesterday, there is now a packaged liquor that's going to be limited to midnight. And I just wanted to tell you that the revenue that's made is going to affect 28 families because you're going to shut down their business at midnight for a portion of their sales. The reason you're doing this is because of an issue that Councilman Ibarra mentioned, where Sideline Sports Bar has people that loiter in the parking lot. And people loitering in parking lots, this has been going on forever. White Castle, Kmart parking lot, Long Shots, Speedway. The answer to this problem was the city closed down Speedway early. They closed the White Castle down early so that these people wouldn't loiter anymore. And I just feel like, as a business person, why do we get penalized because we can't handle the gangbangers that are in this town? Now, they come with their own liquor. I go out on Saturday and Sunday mornings and I clean up that parking lot, and I see the Binny's bags and I see the sleeves of cups and liquor that our packaged liquor doesn't even sell. So it's not, oh, they all come into the parking lot and they run in to buy packaged liquor and then they loiter. It's not happening that way. They pull into the parking lot and they've already got their liquor with them, and now the plan is to party till 4 in the morning. Our bar closes at 3. They don't care. They just stay there and party until they're out of liquor. And I just think that we as a city need to take control of these people instead of taking control of the businesses that are trying to earn money for their employees and their families. Last summer, we cooperated with JPD. We closed our packaged liquor sales for 5 weeks on the weekends. It had zero effect on the people that were loitering in the parking lot. They could have cared less. They still were out there with their own booze, their own cups, partying, walking around, socializing. I can't do anything out there. I have 3 security people. We handle our security inside our bar. We have a database where we drop IDs. People know when they come in that if they start a fight inside, they're going to be banned for life because we have their photo, we have their ID, and they go in the system as barred. The people that are outside, many of them have already been barred, and that's why they can't come in. But last note, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. 2 years ago, Councilwoman Quillman, this came up for a vote to stop all new Package A liquor licenses. And you mentioned that there had been no hearing. And I think it's only fair to have a hearing on this subject as well with the 28 business owners, because this all went on the docket Monday morning and nobody knows about it. So please take all of this into consideration when you're voting for this evening, and I appreciate your time.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, Mr. Crawford.
Good evening. Hey, this public hearing for community development block grant. I I think I understand that the decisions have pretty much already been made into who and where some of the financing will go. But I'm more concerned about a present situation. I'm coming back talking about the swimming pool and transportation, having access to people being able to cool off who live on the east side of the river. There's no place to swim. And rather than just simply come up here and say, hey, there's no place to swim, public pool, I'm saying, as I've suggested last night, that is there some kind of fund in that community development block grant, emergency fund, or whatever it takes to provide a way to get people to the municipalities that have swimming pools and service there? Is there a way that we can do that for starting now, not next year, where the city has a fund, whether it's an emergency fund or something? I don't know where it's come from, but I know that it's a problem that's been shared with me off and on, and certainly in the last more than a couple of weeks or so. But we don't have that partnership or relationship with the park district. There's no access there. The Boys and Girls Club pool just got operable. And so access to those pools are membership services, but it's really not a public pool. So I'm asking, is there a way to provide resources where we could get buses and just transport people to Romeoville, New Lenox, wherever they've got those public pools? And I say that in the context of, from the school district, there was a program that we had in place that we just called it Summer Fun. And not only did we take families swimming when there was something out by the casino, that public pool that we had for a while, but we took them to Bolingbrook, we took them down to Shanahan, wherever the pools were, because there were no pool services in Joliet. So I'm asking you to weigh that, and I think that I'm sure that you have some way that you could afford to provide something that would make that something that our kids or adults or families could experience this year, tomorrow. Thought I'd throw that in. Oh, the other thing that I did want to mention is that while I appreciate Ms. Damon's comments about that, and as it related to making to table that issue regarding the IFF. I think that a similar situation is the people who work in the warehouses that seem to be, we've got more than we need around here. And I just kind of do a random survey, and when I ask people at the gas stations, when you see the jackets on, say, oh, you coming from work? Yeah, where you work? I work at the warehouse, I work at Amazon, wherever it is. Where do you live? Somewhere else. So most of the people who work in those warehouses that I've spoken to, they get a check at Amazon and they take it back to where they live, and not a penny of that money, other than maybe at the gas pump, comes into our economy. So I think it's something we may want to consider in terms of, are they really, warehouses really the useful, other than what they provide for themselves? I don't know what it provides for the city. Thanks for hearing me.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, seeing none. Next are council committee reports. We will start with diversity and community relations.
Okay, so Diversity and Community Relations meeting, the committee was set to meet yesterday, Monday, June 30th at 4:30 in the Executive Council room, but was canceled due to lack of quorum. Thank you.
Okay. Land Use and Economic Development.
The Land Use and Economic Development Committee met yesterday, Monday, June 30th at 3:30 here in the council chambers. In attendance was my Councilwoman Ibarra and myself. We just reviewed a couple agenda items. We had the resolution adopting the Downtown Joliet Equitable Transit-Oriented Development Plan, the ETOD. We had a presentation by Jane Bernhard on that, and I'm excited to get that plan adopted. I think we had a lot of great participation from a lot of community members, and I think that was a good plan. I'm excited to bring it to the council for a full vote. We also reviewed And another agenda item for the final plat of Cadence Crossings, Unit 1, west-northwest of Emerald Drive on South Chicago Street on 53. Then we had the agenda item 8717, which is the award of one business continuity grant for a total amount of $33,033.88 to Chicago Street Pub. Just another downtown business who, Chicago Street Pub's been around for 20-plus years, and it's part of the grant that we approved in the past, and they're just been approved for another $33,000. And then we had another presentation by the Heritage Corridor Destinations doing their annual report. They do a great job of promoting the Route 66 corridor, and we're excited to work with them as well. They had a lot of great information, and you could see it on the video that was posted from yesterday's meeting. But there's a lot of exciting stuff coming for the centennial of Route 66 next year, so we're excited to be working with them as well. Councilwoman Barr, did I miss anything?
Just that Heritage Corridor is doing such a fantastic job, and
Absolutely.
they proved us by showing their numbers. So they've done an amazing job. Thank you.
Absolutely, they do get us a lot of state grants, which also help put if anyone's been out to the Broadway Greenway, there was some great, we have some really cool signage out there right now, and is doing some great stuff out there with that. So it's exciting to keep working with them. So that'd be my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
Public Assets.
The Public Assets Committee met on Thursday, June 26th at 4:30 in the Executive Conference Room. In attendance were Councilman Clement, Councilman Marino, and me, along with Dustin Anderson, Community Development Director, Blaine Klein, Facilities Director, Brent Frazier, Chief Operating Engineer, Night Train Fack from the Joliet Slammers, and Greg Prebolt from the Joliet Area Historical Museum. We approved the minutes from February 25th, 2025. There were no citizens to be heard on agenda items. There were 2 agenda items. The first item was a resolution accepting a sponsorship agreement for a promotional event to be held at Slammer Stadium by the Slammers with Pabst Brewing Company. The second item was a resolution from an MOU regarding the netting at Slammer Stadium. The new netting extends down each baseline to the outfield fence and enhances the safety of spectators. Blaine Klein provided an update on the new air conditioning units that were recently installed and are operational at Union Station and the Joliet Area Historical Museum just in time for the recent heat. Victory Center construction was completed as of late May. City staff has been meeting with Victory Center ownership to discuss the green space where the old gymnasium was. Sharon Farrell from the Miracle League spoke during public comment and praised staff for the work done on asphalt and parking lot fencing, and requested some ADA bathroom updates for the 2026 season. Night Train Vec and Greg Prebolt also gave updates on the Slammer Stadium, the Joliet Area Historical Museum, the old prison, and Joliet Railroad Museum. Night Train Vec will have more information on an upcoming promotional event in the very near future. It's super secret. The Joliet Area Historical Museum saw a very busy spring with over 4,000 visitors from March until April 25th. The summer is trending to be very busy as well. That would be my report. Thank you.
I have a couple things. Yeah, sorry
By
about
all
that.
means, Councilman
We
Clement.
spoke briefly about the entryway coming into Joliet on Collins Street. We're going to work on cleaning that up so the prison looks good, and the entryway there. Also on the stadium, it's going to come at a later date. We're going to have to deal with the dock and the gate off of Jefferson Street. Those are deteriorating real bad, so that's going to come at a later date. So that'd be all. Thank you.
Do you have anything to add, Councilwoman?
Oh, no, I'm not on that anymore,
I'm
but
so
I was
sorry.
thinking about the dock because I was on
Juan?
it.
No,
Anybody?
good. Everything's good.
Okay.
Councilwoman Moreno, is that what you said?
No, I'm so sorry.
Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, Public Safety.
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor, the Public Safety Committee met today here in the council chambers at 5:35. We approved the minutes from June 3rd, 2025. There were no citizens to be heard on any agenda items. Under agenda items, Representatives from the Joliet Fire Department were here. Payment for the first due invoice for web-based fire inspection services in the amount of $112,793.51. Basically, it's the Joliet Fire Department's, they purchased a web-based fire inspection program for the first due to streamline our inspection program and to collect accurate data. This web-based system allows for the fire department to access critical building data and pre-incident plans at any scene of an emergency. And this will be this was the annual payment, $112,793.51. So that was approved. And then we had two items under resolutions. Resolution that's under the police department. Resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Joliet and Plainfield Community Consolidated District 202. Basically, this is the officer in the school. We've been doing this for a long time, so this is just an agreement. And then and that was approved. It's on our agenda item for tonight. And then resolution approving the execution of MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between the City of Joliet and Joliet Job Corps. Basically, if there's an incident there, there's an agreement that the City of Joliet, the police department, will arrive and handle any incidents there. So that was also, and that was to the Department of Labor. So that was also approved. There was no new or old business, not for final action or recommendation. There was nobody from the public for any comments. Do you have anything else, Jan, to add?
Just to add that if there was talk about Job Corps no longer going to be around, and so the question was, if they leave there, do we still have to look at that building for security? And it was said, no, only if Job Corps is there will we respond. So
Yeah.
that's still up in the air. But as long as Job Corps is there, we will be there.
Correct. And then there was nothing else, and then we just adjourned. So that was my report, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, question, Councilman. The District 202 Resource Officer Agreement, was there any changes, or was it just basically housekeeping to renew the existing agreement we have with the high schools?
I believe it's housekeeping. Chief, can you comment on that? I believe I'm accurate.
No, Councilman, that's a redundant contract. There's no change to the contract. It's just the same thing as you approved last year.
Okay, thank you.
Yearly update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Public service.
Public service always goes as the final, and I wanted to explain why after all these many months and years, because they save the best for last, folks. It's the most
For
exciting.
the alphabet.
All right, we had a very short meeting this time. At the meeting was myself and Councilwoman Reardon, as well as Greg Ruddy, and Director of Public Works, and Allison Swisher, Director of Public Utilities, and several of their staff. We had 6 total items. Under contracts, we had 2 items. They both had to do with water and sewer. And both were engineering contracts that we reviewed. One was for a little bit more than $155,000, and that's for Kavanaugh and Associates to design a water meter system for the entire city, dividing the city into 12 zones or 12 districts. This is part of our earnest effort to reduce water loss for the 2030 switch over to Lake Michigan water. So what this means was, what will happen is, they'll be able to see, cutting the city into 12 roughly equal segments. They'll be able to see how much water goes in, and then cross-reference to how much water is paid for, and see which of those smaller districts, than trying to look at the whole city, are losing the water. Was I accurate on that, Allison? Thank you. Then the other service agreement was for our ongoing, which started in 2017, sanitary sewer rehabilitation program for 2026 for RJN Group Incorporated for engineering services. We looked at both of those contracts and we found them to be in order, and they were unanimously approved and sent forward to this full council with committee recommendation to approve. We had 3 change orders, pay estimates, and final payments. One was for $30,000 for a change order to for additional money for a professional services agreement for on-call wastewater treatment engineering, which is done by Strand and Associates, and that's just a pay-as-you-go. It's time and material, so it's pay-as-you-go. Some years we spend more on it, other years we spend less, depending on projects or problems that may arise. The other 2 items under change orders, pay estimates, and final payments, we're closing out of contracts One closed out with a net reduction, or give back, if you will, of about $6,800. So that was for the water main improvements project at Guernsey Park, Phase 5B. The approval, or the Vernado Park water main improvements was finished up and finalized, and that was a give back or a deduction from the original amount that we were going to be charged of $807,000. So that was a lot of savings, and we discussed that yesterday briefly. That had to do with there was less stone, essentially, to drill through, if you will, to do the project. So our engineering staff oversees that to see and make sure that that we get billed correctly. So that's a big savings. And then we had a small item, a resolution approving the dedication of .019 acre portion of Old Castle Road as a public right-of-way, and that's to accommodate the construction implementation of stoplights. So nothing big. That was a matter of housekeeping, routine. Other than that, Sherry,
No, and it's good.
Mayor, that will be our report.
Thank you.
I told you we saved the best for last.
Very good, Larry.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, invoices to be paid. It is recommended this report be approved. Council memo number 376-25, approval of professional services agreement for the district metered area design and implementation project to Kavanaugh and Associates, PA, in the amount of $155,428.70. Council memo number 377-25, approval of professional services agreement for the 2026 sanitary sewer rehabilitation program to RJN Group Incorporated in the amount of $114,100. Council memo number 378-25, approval of amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement for on-call wastewater treatment engineering on behalf of Strand Associates Incorporated in the amount of $30,000. Council memo number 379-25, approval of change order number 2 for the Guernsey Park Phase 5B water main improvements project on behalf of Construction by Camco Incorporated for a deduction in the amount of $6,757.66. Council memo number 380-25, approval of change order number 2 for the Vernado Park water main improvements project on behalf of Steve Spees Construction Incorporated for deduction in the amount of $807,418.80. Council memo number 381-25, approval of payment to Locality Media Incorporated, aka First Due, for web-based fire inspection services in the amount of $112,793.51. It is recommended council memos 376-25 through 381-25 be approved. Is there a motion to approve all said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quimmen?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is agenda items. Council memo number 383-25, award of contract for comprehensive benefit consulting and broker services to Marsh McLennan Agency in the amount of $83,600. It is recommended council memo number 383-25 be approved.
Mayor, may I make a comment?
Sure, yeah.
You know, I talk to staff and I appreciate them explaining it, and I want other people to understand the same thing that I understand. This is not a new service that we're doing. Actually, it's an about-time service. We had the same company for a number of years that was doing this brokering, so staff put it out for a request for proposals. And when you look at the numbers, somebody might say, well, this company came in 2,000 more, there was somebody 2,000 less. Right, but this company guaranteed that price for 3 years. And we can opt out at any point, which we probably won't. We need to have this. But I wanted to let people know this is not a new service, and it actually was about time that we did put it out, and we had 4 companies respond, and this one was the most affordable. And they offer quite a few professional services that the city needs. So that's what I wanted to be clear on.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Thanks.
I would make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quimmen?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is a public hearing. Council memo number 385-25, public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Plan 2025 through 2029 and Program Year 2025 Annual Action Plan. This is a public hearing, so comments would be in order at this time. Is there anyone who would like to speak under the public hearing? Okay, seeing none, let the record show the public hearing is now closed. Under ordinances, Council Memo Number 387-25, ordinance amending Section 4-15, seizing the issuance of new Class A liquor licenses and changing class upon transfer. It is recommended that ordinance be adopted.
So
Mayor,
moved.
Mayor, I would ask you to table, after listening to Mr. Knorr, and I did get a couple phone calls from other owners that do have this Class A, can have a meeting with all those Class A meeting with all the Class A owners, and then this is how it is, and if one thing goes out of whack, you lose your license? Is there something like that we could look at? Because I know a couple of the owners do that, but there's never any issues at those at their, businesses.
Let me ask,
I didn't have a chance to talk to you earlier, so I apologize.
okay, let me ask Chief Evans to weigh in a little bit about some of the things that occur that we're trying to curb, if you would.
Well, we do experience a large volume of in-progress calls after hours at several of these locations that have later licenses. One in particular on Jefferson Street, we've had fights in the lot. We've had all kinds of other issues in the lot. We've actually kept cars over past the time that they would normally get off because we're anticipating problems in those lots.
Can I speak on this, please?
Yeah.
So this business in particular is in my district. There are problems inside and outside. To be fair, I'm very well connected in this community. So immediately when one of these videos is on Facebook, it is sent to me, and I have dozens of them inside and outside. It's a very serious safety issue for the city. It's a very serious safety issue for the residents, and I live within walking distance of this particular business. It is really, really, really a huge safety issue, a huge problem. And just to be fair, some of the language you use when you were describing it, you don't know they're gangbangers. They could be kids that are out drinking and having a good time. That's offensive. Nobody checks their card to see if they are a card-holding gangbanger, so that's kind of offensive. But it is a huge problem. It is a huge safety issue. We could pull the license, actually. We could do that, too, so
Mayor.
those are my comments.
May
Yeah.
I also had a lot of correspondences on this issue. More of it was confusion as to what we were trying to do with this license. And I think that with discussions with several people our liquor commissioner, deputy, and our attorney, what it is we are taking the existing A liquor licenses, allowing the current businesses that possess them to keep them. We're just making a change to alter the packaged liquor to cease to be sold after midnight, which mirrors the other packaged liquor businesses in town. And going forth, we will not issue any more Class A liquor licenses. So we're not making them stop selling packaged liquors. It's packaged liquor will be stopped at midnight for all packaged business in Joliet. Is that correct?
I would agree.
Okay.
Correct. And the bar stays open till 3. It's just the packaged liquor that we're stopping at midnight.
Correct.
So we're not taking away business in that sense, but, and I think we've issued a few new, we've given a couple transfers, Kevin, if I'm not mistaken, and asked them to no more packaged liquor after midnight. So this is a transition we're trying to make to try and curb some of the stuff that goes on with the packaged liquor sales after midnight.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Question for the chief. Chief, Mr. Knorr had pointed to, it sounded like some kind of trial 5-week period where he didn't sell packaged liquors and that it didn't actually address the problem we're discussing right now. Can you shed some light on that?
I cannot. I am not aware of that. That may have been an agreement made between Deputy Chief Brown, who runs our operations division, and the bar. Off the top of my head, I don't recall it.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor.
you know, I was employed here at the City of Joliet in 1993. So and I was in the Liquor Commissioner's office for 13 and a half years. We have individuals in this town, and Tom, you must have took some of my talking points. Kmart, McDonald's, White Castle, these groups of people will go from location to location all over the city. We have a business on Essington Road. He shut down at 1 o'clock, 1:30 for 3 months. It didn't solve anything. The same issues that were happening there were happening on Jefferson Street. We have tools at the city. I don't think this, and let me be clear. We all want the same thing. We want everybody to have a good time. We don't want any problems, any fights. We don't want that. Nobody wants that. But we have certain individuals in this town, outside the town, that come here. They will get their liquor from elsewhere. They don't even buy it at the liquor store, right? And they will hang out there in these parking lots. And I know it's a drain on city resources, but I believe this ordinance is not gonna solve anything, okay? And I know what we're trying to do. We're trying to stop any of these incidents. I hear exactly what, I know nobody wants violence or anything like that. This is not gonna solve any of that, in my belief, in my experience. I think what we need to do is more enforcement on our end. And maybe table one's the answer and we can all come in a room and talk about it. But the city has, if the bar is problematic, we have our tools to stop that, to address that. When I was there, usually we make a phone call to the bar owner. Hey, this is what's going on, right? This is what we need to do. And sometimes if it is the bar's problem, they're creating the issues, then they need to be suspended or whatever. We have those tools. But I don't think closing the bar, and this is gonna be addressed, anybody that has that license to sell package, they all have to stop at 12. I don't see why 1 or 2 locations where the stuff is happening, everybody else in the city is gonna suffer that has that license. I'm just saying, I don't think the ordinance is gonna solve anything. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think so. Like you said, Mr. Nord, you closed down early, it didn't have a lick of anything. The business on Essington Road, he closed down at 1:30. It didn't have any effect. We need more enforcement. We know they're going to start showing up there. We start tell them to leave the premise. They don't, we write them for trespass, and we start on our end and do more enforcement. Again, I'm just trying to be fair, and I want to be very, very clear. I don't want any issues like everybody else in the city, you know. But I don't know what the answer is. But I don't think this ordinance is going to do anything. So, those are my thoughts.
Just a quick thought, if I may. Councilwoman, the bar in particular you're talking about, is that not for sale or is someone else taking over that? Because that's what I was told. Someone else is going to take it over and try to change things there.
That's what I was told too, but at this point, no sale has been inked, no agreements have been signed. So what we have to look at is what's right before us now.
Okay, because I think if this new owner took it over, that would stop. Because they called me and said they were going to do all these things, lights and everything, and I just thought, well, to penalize him because of the previous owner, but it's up to this council. I'm just trying to be fair to everybody, and I just thought I would bring it up. I know it's your district, and I understand that.
The possible owner did not have a problem with a midnight packaged liquor change.
Okay.
So the transfer would still go through if this ordinance was passed? Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Then,
Mayor, if I might I suggest, you know, we don't have the information yet, and I'm sure we can get it from Deputy Chief Brown if we give him some time. What if we were to get those that currently have that liquor license? I have no problem with not issuing new licenses with any packaged liquor at a bar, if that's what people want to do, but changing the business model right now can negatively affect businesses who haven't done anything wrong other than that one business. My question would be, what if we got, you know, I'm sure they would be open to it, do a citywide moratorium for 6 weeks on this instead of 5 weeks. I don't know why it was 5. 6 weeks, and monitor the 23 licensed places to see if the people are still hanging out there, which would help us determine that they're not buying it from that bar. They're buying it from wherever, Benny's or wherever they may have said. So that would be my suggestion before we take it away. I have no problem if this council wants to change the ordinance so we don't issue new ones, if that's going to be the new direction. But, you know, you're changing the business model, and so I just wanted to make sure we really need to change it for all 23, or is it 23 or 26? That would be my suggestion.
I have a question. Tom, you suggested that closing down the packaged liquor for 3 hours would affect 28 families. It sounds to me like that's a hell of a lot of liquor getting sold if it's going to affect 28 families. Is that much liquor get sold between midnight and 3?
Tom, go to the mic, please.
I'm just curious, because when you said that number, I thought, man, you must sell an awful lot of alcohol between midnight and 3.
What I was referring to is the 28 current liquor licenses in Joliet that are Class A. So if you're going to stop all 28 bars from selling at midnight, I'm sure that's going to have an effect on them.
Okay. Kevin, you have any comments on this?
The fact that one person of 28 showed up means the other 27 probably aren't too concerned about this. The one person who did show up said that the alcohol being purchased is from other liquor stores anyway. So how would this actually affect his sales if the sales after midnight aren't being done at this particular liquor store? It isn't really affecting the sales. That's all. Only 1 out of 28 showed up, so it doesn't seem like it's a concern to sell packaged liquor. I don't think that's a large part of many businesses. I think it's a deterrent for this particular location. If there is one less option to buy alcohol after midnight for off-premise use, that it should at least send a message that we're trying to get this situation cleaned up in this parking lot on Jefferson Street.
I'd just like to add as well that this didn't just pop up on Monday. We have requirements with Open Meetings Act where we have to post the agenda at least 48 hours in advance, which, happened even before then. So it didn't just pop up. Also, I think the council has all been aware of this for a while as well. And, it's not really a surprise what's on the agenda. So this last minute, pursue because of one concerned business, you have to take into consideration as well, just like you were saying. So just wanted to highlight that we can't, because of the Open Meetings Act, we can't just throw something on an agenda. Like, it's got to be out there so the public can see what's on the agenda to come speak if they'd like to speak.
Mayor, I would just like to comment as well that, I think this can help in a big way because, we realize that, a lot of bad decisions are probably made after a few drinks. And I think if you've had a few drinks throughout the night and it's past midnight and you're deciding, let me take a 12-pack home, and something happens because you decided to do that, not being able to can help, So I think alcohol, we talk about mental health, and everything, and just being able to have access to more alcohol after midnight. I mean, it's probably, in my opinion, it's a better idea that we cut it off at midnight, period. Packaged liquor across the whole city, so that's my comment.
And I do know from being the city manager that we've had a lot of instances with our police. They have a terrible time. Maybe not just here. I'm sure you have trouble other places as well. So it's really been a safety issue that the police department has brought up to me more than once.
Mayor, I would just, one thing that Kevin had said, I would address, I didn't follow the logic. You said, if in fact it's true that they're buying it somewhere else, like Benny's, then he's really not selling liquor. That's not true. He's not selling it to the people that don't come in, or the people he's barred, but he is selling it to his law-abiding customers at the end of the evening who maybe want to take home a cocktail at Friday night or Saturday night home. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't logically mean that he's not selling liquor, packaged liquor. It means he's not selling it to the scoundrels that are creating the problem. And my concern here is, if we don't look into it a little bit deeper first, is what happens if it doesn't solve the problem? You've realigned their business model, and if it does not sell, I would love to see a beta, a 6-week test to see if it actually does address it.
Mayor, just one more thing. If there is an incident, continue incidents in establishments that hold a liquor license, we have the tools to take care of that inside, if anything like that's going on. What's happening here is we have individuals that are going into parking lots, whether it's Essington Road, I guess more importantly, Jefferson Street, they are purchasing liquor elsewhere, wherever that may be. Maybe it's in their vehicle for 3 days, I don't know. They are not coming in to buy liquor. They are starting trouble outside. So if we have problems inside at that establishment, we have the tools to discipline them and deal with it. Believe me, if you shut somebody down, you're gonna have their attention. This particular incident or issue is people are coming into that parking lot, Marycrest, and they're loitering. They're hanging out, they're drinking, they're partying, they're fighting. Is it because of the liquor store? I don't think so. I think it's just an opportunity where they hang. Just like Essington Road. He shut down for 3 months. He lost $15,000 trying to stop the problem. I talked to him today. It didn't help one iota at all. I think enforcement is what we have to do. I just think this, and it is a problem, and nobody up here wants any violence, and I want to be clear. And I know what we're trying to do, stop all this nonsense. But I don't think this is the answer. So, thank you.
So one other comment I would make is, Jan, you always say you want a table, but when you make a motion to table, that means no more conversation at all in the dais. So it would be more appropriate to make a motion to defer to the next city council meeting if you want to actually work on this. Otherwise, it's up to the council if you'd just rather go to a vote.
I'd like the council to work on this, so I'm going to move to table. And if it doesn't work out, do the trial for 6 months, and is that what you want me to say?
No, I'm just highlighting that in the Robert's Rules of Order, if you say you'd like to table something at that time, the discussion has to end, which did not end here. So I'm just telling you the more appropriate motion would be to defer to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Well, I wanted to explain why. That's why I was thinking that way. But whatever, can't explain. So, okay. I move to table this. So
Yeah, I think you have to defer to the next meeting is what.
then I'll defer to the next meeting, Mayor. Okay.
So that you're making that motion.
Then we need a vote on whether or not the council wants to defer to the next regularly scheduled meeting.
And I think since we're going to go by the Roberts rule, we can still discuss. I'm questioning what can happen in 2 weeks.
Someone could be killed in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm talking about with the
I'm
council.
sorry.
That's okay. What can, me, I'd like to see a beta test for the current ones. And if it does, if we do it for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it is, 6 weeks, and it does shut it down, unlike Essington Road, as the councilman said, okay, then we have our answer. If it doesn't stop it, I have firsthand experience. What I mean is this goes back quite a bit, back to the early 90s. Some of us that are a little bit older remember the White Castle on Jefferson. Remember there used to be on Saturday nights. There was hundreds of people that would hang out there. I was there coming back from refereeing a football game late one evening from Chicago, and I stopped at White Castle's, and it was probably about 11 o'clock at night, and somebody threw a beer bottle through the back of my window, out of the crowd. I didn't get out with 300 unruly people, kind of in a mini riot, but I can tell you this much, they didn't buy that Miller Lite beer at White Castle. So shutting down White Castle wouldn't, stop them from bringing the beer. Shutting down White Castle may get them to say, okay, now we'll go over to some other restaurant. That's all I'm trying to say. I would like to be a little bit more deliberate on this, and maybe we can, as the Councilman Clement has alluded to, is maybe we can come down harder on this problem one in Councilwoman's district. Come down harder. I mean, can't we, based on their calls for service, can't we suspend their entire license, as was already mentioned? We don't have to do it to everybody. That would be my proposal. So,
Can I make a comment in response to that and just in general? It's more than just a beer bottle being thrown. The videos I viewed, I can bring them with if we're going to another meeting, so everyone can see what I've had the pleasure of viewing for the last couple of months. Were inside the club and outside the club. Very brutal beatings to the point of I'm very surprised one of them for sure even survived it. It was like a curb stomp. It was very traumatic to see. It's traumatic to the residents. It's traumatic to the neighbors. You want us to wait until someone dies? It's more than just a beer bottle being thrown. It is some very, very brutal behavior, and we would be completely blind if we didn't see that liquor exacerbates this situation. And those are my comments. I will do everything I can to protect my residents, my district, and our officers too. Because if it's getting brutal with the other patrons, they're showing up, it's getting brutal with them too. So we have a real issue. This is definitely shootings waiting to happen. That's all I have to say.
So to go back to do you want to, I'm sorry.
Wanted to say, do we take?
To go back to parliamentary procedure, then Jan made a motion to defer to the next regularly scheduled meeting, and we'll have to take a roll call on whether or not to do that.
I withdraw my table. Forget it.
Okay.
Okay, so are we voting on the item then?
Right, so just to clarify, Jan, you're making a motion to defer to the next meeting?
I'm making a motion to defer to the next meeting.
Okay.
Second?
So move?
No, we need a second.
Second.
Okay, so now you vote, if you vote yes, then it is to defer to the next regularly scheduled meeting. If you vote no, then the vote would proceed today.
Okay. Councilwoman Ibarra.
No.
Councilman Moreno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon.
No.
Councilman Cardenas.
No.
Councilman Clement.
No.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
No.
Time to.
So that motion failed.
Right.
A tie fails. So.
Can I make a motion to approve
Yes,
the
Second.
It
original?
wasn't a
you need
tie.
a second to that.
Second.
Okay.
It wasn't a tie.
Now you're voting on whether or not to approve this ordinance.
Any other comments? Thank you.
Do we have,
Yeah, no comments. Go ahead.
okay. Councilman Moreno.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
No.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
No.
Councilman Hug.
No.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo Number 389-25. Resolution approving intergovernmental agreement with Plainfield Community Consolidated School District 202. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve.
Any comments? Thank you.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
She didn't.
Aye. I don't want to
Count-
scream.
Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Moreno.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo Number 390-25, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of an agreement between the City of Joliet and the Joliet Fire Department Cares Foundation Incorporated. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Reardon.
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas.
Aye.
Councilman Clement.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
I just quickly want to thank the JFD, Joliet Fire Department's nonprofit arm, for stepping up, because the bicentennial needs us to keep moving forward. So thank you. Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra.
Aye.
Councilman Moreno.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo Number 391-25, resolution approving the dedication of a 0.019 acre portion of Old Castle Road as a public right-of-way. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
I'm going to recuse myself because in the listings here is part of that property that was sold prior, and I should recuse my vote.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council memo number 392-25, a resolution accepting sponsorship agreement with Pabst Brewing Company, LLC. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council memo number 393-25, resolution authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the City of Joliet and Joliet Community Baseball and Entertainment LLC, DBA the Joliet Slammers Baseball Club, related to Slammers Stadium field netting. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second. Sorry.
Any comments? Thank you.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon?
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council memo number 394-25, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Joliet and IAFF Local 44.
Just a correction there, it's 394.35. You said 25, so I just want to make sure it's correct on the agenda. Oh, well, sorry, mine's wrong.
It's 25, sorry. Yep.
You're jumping ahead 10 years.
The city manager has the wrong.
You said that last night.
I just got 10 years older, Mayor.
Oh, mine's got 35 on it too. What's going on around here?
Uh-oh.
Like, get this from the clerk.
On the iPad, it's fine.
Okay.
Trying to get me in trouble, aren't you?
As long as we have the right
It's the right
number.
Correct, yep.
For the record.
25.
For the record, it's 25.
Little discussion, Mayor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I personally support, I've looked over the agreement and I support it. The only part that I don't support, but it's not going to stop me from voting for the 95% of the rest of the agreement, is giving up the residency. And with that being said, I want people to understand, we had a speaker tonight come up here, Mr. Zunich. I've gotten calls, I think other people have gotten calls, texts, and there's out there, and it's blaming the union. The union didn't demand this, didn't ask for this. It was asked for by the management side for whatever the reason may be in the negotiation. This is not the union asking to have the right to move out. They accepted it, is my understanding. So I just wanted to clarify that because there's people out there, I've gotten calls and texts from people, what are they giving back? You know, if they're gonna, they didn't ask for this. That wasn't their move. They didn't object when it was brought up by the other side, apparently. So yeah, I don't support the loss of the residency, but it's not going to stop me from supporting the rest of the contract. And I wanted to be clear that the union wasn't spearheading this, because that's fair to let people know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, too. I don't want our employees living outside the city. Mr. Zunich had some great points, but again, I'm not going to blow up a contract, which 95% of it, that I believe is good. So I'm with you.
Thank you.
Mayor. Same thing, just to reiterate, the same thing with Councilman Clement and Councilman Hug. I support everything on the contract except the opening up residency. I know it painted kind of like a wrong picture with our firemen. Some of the residents were asking, why don't they want to live here? So it's not them that were saying that. You know, I'm sure they love the city. They're great people, great hard workers. But, I still support the contract, and we're going to vote the way we're going to vote. Thank you.
So part of the situation we have here is that for some reason, the city of Joliet in 2016 enacted a residency program that goes all the way to 2030. So if we don't like this in 4 years, we can change it, right? But we're having a hard time hiring people in the city. We're having a hard time helping people move into our city because we don't have a lot of inventory. Interest rates are high, so if someone would like to work in our police, fire positions, they'd have to move. They'd have to sell a house they might be in a cheap mortgage in. They'd have to take a higher mortgage. This is not about the firemen not wanting to live in the city of Joliet. This is trying to help us hire. We're 20 policemen short right now, and that number is going to grow next year when more people retire. So this wasn't forced on anybody, but we think it's a good tool to help us bring people in. We're having a hard time getting 911 operators, engineers, replace some of the folks that are retiring. But as I stated, that was a 14-year deal. I've never, ever, in collective bargaining, been in a deal that was 14 years long. But here is a 4-year deal. So if it doesn't work, then we bring it back. But unfortunately, the 14-year deal had some other caveats that we won't get into. However, we're having a hard time getting police officers. How many applications we have last time, Chief?
We had in the 70s, sir.
In the 70s.
You would
Yeah,
say
hundreds.
years ago it would have been well into the hundreds. And just for record, I personally would love to see everybody live in the city of Joliet. However, right now, the residency situation has been a longstanding issue for the JPD. We're experiencing several candidates who have removed their name from consideration due to residency requirements. And then if we do get them and they're living outside the city and we tell them they have 18 months to move into the city, we're having a heck of a time getting them to move into the city. So while we're 20 plus people short, I see this at least as a little bit of opportunity for us to gain some traction with our manpower issues. The last testing cycle has clearly been the most challenging we've ever had since I've been here.
I mean, this is really why we have to look at this.
Mayor, things have changed. When I started, well, I took the test in '92. 1,800 people took out applications. So that's how far we've changed in all these years.
Well, one of the stories that hit me was a young police officer that finally got on, lived out of town, and he sold his house thinking he was going to move into one that he had a contract on. It did not make inspections. He could not get the loan on the house. He couldn't find another house. He and his wife and his baby moved into the 2-bedroom bungalow with his mom and dad until they could find a house. And then they found a house that maybe wasn't their dream home, but they got them out of the bungalow with their mom and dad. This is the kind of situation that, these are real world problems. So I'm sorry that people think it's not because nobody wants to. Hell, I love living in Joliet. I know a lot of our employees do live in Joliet. We don't want them moving out, but we do want to have the option of helping people move here to work with us and then eventually move in with us. You know, this long-term comprehensive plan, we're gonna develop housing projects and houses and things that are gonna help us overcome this problem. We're in kind of a crazy spot right now with no inventory. It took about 8 months to find a house.
Mayor, I've heard the exact same thing with fire. They're saying the exact same thing with the low recruitment, the low, we used to have lists of people who wanted to be in the fire department, and that is no longer the case. And you could see they're not coming in at a, large salary. They're coming in at a small salary. And if they have to buy a house that they haven't had the time to, earn some money to get a down payment, it's not easy to move a young couple into the city who's just starting a new job. And we need our firemen and we need our police. So.
We need everybody.
Mayor, can yeah, and I think when we talk about the inventory, I've talked to a few realtors and we look at our housing crisis, you got, when there's typically 600 to 800 homes on the market, and you're looking at probably 80 to 100 homes on the market currently. So I think if people are the fear of the mass exodus of people leaving the city now that the residency is gone, they're not going to leave this 2-3% interest rate they probably got a few years back to go buy a $700,000 home at 7%. So I agree with you in the 4 years. If it doesn't work or it's not working and we solve the problem, then it could always come back if it's needed. But I think this is a good move right now for our contracts for all our union employees.
Can I say one thing really quick? Just to be clear, and maybe Todd Lindsay will answer this question. It's very simple. I don't know of a time ever that contract negotiation or collective bargaining, as much as we love the public and we love our residents' comments, that these are very high-level meetings with like the leaders of the unions and the head of the city and probably legal. There's never a time where residents are allowed to come and participate in collective bargaining. So as much as we all like to hear what the public says, by this point, both sides have agreed. And it's taken a great deal of time and effort to get here, and now both sides agree. It's great to get it done. It is great to get it
Was
done.
that a question for me? Just answer your own question.
But is there ever a time that the public can come and participate in collective bargaining?
No, you're
Okay.
absolutely right.
I just want to make that clear. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor?
Sure.
Just to clarify, anybody watching, I think everybody in the room understands what's going on. We are only considering the fire department 44's contract, because we're starting to talk about other contracts that haven't yet come in. This is, tonight, folks, we're only voting on one contract, and it's 44's, which is the, otherwise known as the blue shirt firefighters, which is the largest portion of the fire department that comes and saves your house. So that's the only thing we're considering tonight. We're not considering police or any other.
Once we get this long-term comprehensive plan done, we'll have an abundance of places for people to move into the city. And, maybe we'll reenact it then. But right now, we just have a situation that is not under our control, and we need to be able to hire and have more people want to work with us here in the city, whether they live in or out. Any other comments?
I had comments, but I was just going to repeat what you said. We need to get people here to work, and they may not want to move to Joliet right away, but they know the jobs that are here, and that is a problem. People are looking for jobs, but they're also looking for places to live. So,
To Mr. Crawford's comments too, we've got a lot of folks working in these warehouses, but we never built the housing for them to live here. So that's part of what we're trying to do with this comprehensive plan. Sorry, I'm off subject.
we all are. Oh, did we make another rule out of order here? I don't know.
I can make a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Ibarra,
Yes. I mean, aye.
Councilman Marino,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye?
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo Number 395-25, resolution approving an honorary street name designation for Staff Sergeant Jose Dueñas. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? I'd like to make a comment if I could. I guess I can because I'm the mayor, right? I just want to take a minute to talk about this resolution, more importantly, to talk about Staff Sergeant Jose Dueñas Jr. Our community is heartbroken, and we mourn the loss of this young man, particularly for his family, who will miss him immensely. Staff Sergeant Dueñas was one of 6 children, a devoted husband, and a proud father to a 1-year-old son. He answered the call to service to his country shortly after graduating from high school in 2017. He would have celebrated his 26th birthday on April 8th. The street dedication stands as a permanent tribute to his service and sacrifice and his deep love for country and family. It's a reminder to all of us of the tremendous price our men and women in uniform are willing to pay to protect our freedoms. May his name and memory live on in the heart of the city, in the street he grew up in. That signed presentation will be July 11th at 11 a.m. at the corner of Washington and
Albert Avenue.
Albert. So we'd love to invite everybody there to share this with the family. Thank you.
Okay. It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Marino,
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon,
Aye.
Councilman Cardenas,
Aye.
Councilman Clement,
Aye.
Councilman Hug,
Aye?
Councilwoman Ibarra,
Aye.
Mayor Darcy.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next is the city manager's report.
Okay, downtown construction. Last week's progress included the intersection of Chicago Street and Clinton has now been opened, and all surface patching has been completed. In the new square, the gathering area seating structure and North Fountain structure have had the concrete foundations poured. Work that will be addressed this week includes electrical work within the city square area will continue. Placement of the brick pavers in the streetscape areas from Jefferson Street north to Clinton Street is expected. Sidewalk replacements along the north side of Clinton Street and the Chicago Street intersection will be made. Pedestrian crosswalks and access to all businesses will remain open to the public. Chicago Street between Clinton and Cass Streets will remain closed to traffic to allow for planter, curb, and sidewalk placements. And daytime parking on Chicago Street between Jefferson Street and Clinton is restricted between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. to allow for construction activities to continue along the roadway. Bridge update. Yesterday, the Jefferson Street Bridge was reopened. Yay! However, we're going to get some booze on this one. The Ruby Street Bridge is scheduled to close beginning Monday, July 7th through late August. Events. On June 18th, I attended the Will County Governmental League's managers meeting. We discussed several key topics, followed by a presentation from the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus focused on building codes. I also had the pleasure of attending this year's Taste of Joliet. Despite the excessive heat, the event was a tremendous success with impressive crowd turnout throughout the weekend. Congratulations to the Joliet Park District and everyone involved, especially our police and fire, in organizing and making sure everyone was safe. Lastly, on behalf of myself and city staff, I'd like to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July. That concludes my report.
Okay. Next, we have public comments. Is there anyone who would like to address the council this evening? Please come up.
My name is Trista Brown, and I'm from Speak Up. I just have the family here who's one of their family members has been missing since Friday, and they just wanted to speak to the council. They asked me to just introduce the family. I just wanted to know that Joliet's out there supporting them, and we're all concerned about their loved ones.
Good evening. My name is Janet Gordon Dorsey, and my mom and cousins and nieces and nephews, we all are asking if you could support us in helping us get a team together to search for my nephew, Terran Foster Gordon.
I'm his grandmother. My name is Flory, and I am a resident of Joliet, and I'm here asking for help to find my grandson. Joliet police and everybody, I need your help. Can you please?
Hello, how you guys doing? I'm Cabri, I'm his girlfriend. I want to know if we can get some help, maybe get some search going around the waters, Des Plaines River, Bicentennial, everywhere in the water.
We all reside in different areas of Joliet, Chicago, Hazel Crest, but we need Joliet, Hazel Crest, whatever, help in finding her nephew, her grandson, a father. This is not him. He does do things to not let no one know where he's located or whatever. We need you guys' help. We need you guys' help. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know we're not supposed to comment, but I'm going to. I know Chief and I have talked about this over the last few days. We've got 2 detectives working completely on this. We are supporting you, and we're trying to help you get an answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're here. I just again thank you for the family contact, and I just want to make sure they know that Joliet is really out there and we give their support. Myself, Trista, and Melvin, We're here just to speak on, way back in, I think mine was in February, we had put in a claim at the legal department, with our vehicle got damaged going over that Cass Street Bridge, okay? And there was like 3 other people too. Then we received a letter from P.T. Farrell with an oath signature, just again, the same people having the same damages. Now here it is like June and July. The reason why I'm here is because it seems like we have to do our own investigation. We put a claim in February. We did it to the legal department. Then they, again, they find out who the contractor is. Was P.T. Farrell's actually the general contractor. Well, we're here because we're doing all the running around. They have us go here. Then we call P.T. Farrell. Nobody answered that. Then we finally was able to get the engineer. The engineer lives in Texas. Then after the engineer in Texas, he sent us to somebody else, to Public Utilities. Public Utilities put it in a hub. We should not be doing all of this for a claim that was happening. Our car was destroyed, not for somebody else. And they got us running around. And so the reason why we're here, because we're still running around, and Erica was trying to help us in Public Utilities. She also, so we find out it was AT&T who actually did the work. So P.T. Farrell said they're not responsible, but they're the general contractor. So this is what happens when we put in the claims, when we have all these contractors just out here who's hiring these other different people, and our cars are getting messed up. And so not only was myself, he said he didn't want to talk much, but he also, so this is Melvin. It's so ironic. We didn't know we both had the same problems. And I looked at these like, that was the same area. There are 3 other people. And guess what? We got the same letter on the same day with no signature. So I'm just letting you know, like, a lot of people's cars are getting destroyed. This happened in February through the water project, I believe, the Cass Street Bridge. When you go to the Cass Street Bridge, and we already know that there was these potholes, things that get finished, so one is blaming the other, but nobody's taking responsibility. So I thought you should be aware. Everybody on the legal team was like, wow, trying to help us back there. But we're kind of like, why are we doing all of this work when we're hoping that someone right now to give us a letter to AT&T, whoever that is that did the work. So I just want you to know, like, this is July now. This has been since February. So if somebody can, like, get in touch with whoever that is, I got their names, but we're down to AT&T at this point. And now we don't know where to go after that. So that's what I wanted to share. There is 5 other people in the same area, so we figured we have one spokesman for the same thing. So I just want you to be aware of what's happening with the P.T. Farrell, who we contract to do all this work in our community. All right, thank you for listening, and have a happy 4th of July. Anything new?
Yeah, I would just like to say, though, that even though when you still go over the Cass Street Bridge, they fixed it, it's 3 potholes. They fixed 2 of them, but the last one next to is Cass and Pine or Western is still a pretty deep pothole, and they haven't fixed that one yet. So I just feel someone should get in contact with them and have them fill that hole. I'm just a dirty, that's it.
Thank you.
But one thing I do like the process, I have to tell you. So the front desk, information desk, you go there, you give it incident, we have an incident number, and we keep following up with that, so that everything is very well documented. So therefore, nobody can say we didn't do this, we didn't do that. We are following all your rules that you give us, right? But at the end of the day, we're not getting any results. So just what you know, the legal team is doing their thing, but their hands to be tied. The front desk is doing their thing, neighborhood services, everybody is doing their thing in your thing, except the people who did the work. And those are people that we pay. So if you have to check them out and find out who is AT&T and can they please get that car. Thank you.
If you want to talk to me afterwards, I'd be happy to speak with you, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
Can we fill that pothole if it's still there?
Greg, can we fill that pothole?
Yeah, we can look into who caused the pothole. We'll look into it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Although we're thanking you guys for helping us, and we want to know, can we get a search party going on or some help with that as well? I mean, we're new at this. We don't know what to do. We don't know who to talk to. We don't know where to go. We need some help. Honestly, we need help. And personally, I don't know what questions to ask, who to ask, or what to say. But is there a possibility for a search,
or whatever goes on, we need to find him. He's been missing. We need to find him.
Would you be the person to contact?
No, sir. His niece, his aunt, his grandmother.
We'll get some information, okay, from you?
Come on, y'all. This is grandmother and
Yeah.
auntie.
You just tell me who we can contact, and then we'll,
Janet Dorsey Gordon. I'm his aunt. My phone number. Should I give my number?
Why don't you walk up and give
If you want
it?
to be private, come on up here.
Yeah.
Or talk to the chief.
I don't want her to not
Yeah.
answer her number.
Yeah.
We're going through enough
Maybe
already.
turn your microphone off. We can get their, TJ can get their information.
all right, we'll get in touch, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This may be something that we can have our CERT team help us with. So we'll talk to John Lukanzik tomorrow about it.
You're talking to me right now.
That is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, well, I can just talk to Councilwoman Weird, and she's on the CERT team as well. So I think that would be
Oh,
good.
Take charge.
And she's certified.
I am.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening?
Little high. There we go. Good evening, everyone. How are you today? I'm Christine Johnson. I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart. Joliet history, and specifically the history of the Illinois State Penitentiary, Joliet. I have spent well over 14 years extensively researching and learning about the history of the old Joliet prison. As a history tour guide at the old Joliet prison, I had the pleasure and distinct privilege to share the history of our prison with the people from around the world. My husband Michael was a correctional officer and correctional counselor at Joliet for 14 and a half years. He finished his 25-year IDOC career as a correctional counselor at the Illinois Youth Center on McDonough Street. Michael became a volunteer at the Joliet Historical Museum in 2007 and spent 16 years donating his time and talents to Joliet Area Historical Museum. He was one of the 2 former IDOC employees to lead the extremely popular Guard Tour for almost 6 seasons. Michael is a proud Army veteran, proud Union member of the Abraham Lincoln Memorial Squad, and was selected as an everyday hero in 2019 for his volunteerism and commitment to giving back to the community he loves, Joliet. On May 26, 2023, I was halfway through giving a tour at the prison when Mr. Peerbolt, Mr. Greg Peerbolt, approached me and stated that he needed to speak with me. We went to the front box to talk. Upon entering the front box, which was a very public place, Mr. Peerbolt handed me a letter and then cornered me in a room while the COO, Kelly Klobuchar, blocked the doorway. Additionally, Stephen Wright, the curator, and Kaylee Lowry, the registrar, were also present, blocking me in the room. They witnessed Mr. Peerbolt yelling at me and accusing me of sending harassing letters and death threats to his wife. I was mortified. I had no idea what was going on. Mr. Peerbolt threatened to have me arrested if I didn't leave in 5 minutes and then changed it to 5 seconds. He proceeded to tell me I was indefinitely banned from stepping foot on JHM property. I was humiliated, embarrassed in front of other managers, coworkers, and guests. There is an audio recording of the firing. I did not record it. Someone did for my safety. Would you like to hear it? Because I'd love to share it with you. Maybe it will pique your interest.
Mayor Darcy and City Council members, I am asking for your help. Please intervene on our behalf to get the ban lifted. It is unnecessary and cruel. We would like to bring our children and grandchildren to the prison so they can learn the history and what Michael did. No more excuses. The city continuously gives money to Joliet Area Historical Museum and the prison. Clearly, the city has a vested interest in the museum and the prison. If what happened to me would have happened to your 57-year-old spouse, mother, Yaya, would you sit back and do nothing? What Mr. Peerbolt did to me is despicable. What he did to 7 of us was despicable, especially my husband. He is 68 years old. I am fighting for him. He is Joliet living history and has been tossed aside like a piece of trash. He is 68 and he is convinced he will never see the inside of those limestone walls again. My heart is broken for him. The punishment imposed by Mr. Peerbolt is not only excessive, as I said, it is unnecessarily cruel. Everybody deserves dignity. Help us regain our dignity. It's never too late to mend. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again. Good evening, council members, mayor, fellow citizens of Joliet. My name is Diane Matter, and I reside in Joliet. I'm here tonight to address the blatant lies and misconceptions that have been circulating about my family's decision regarding a proposal made to us in 2018 involving Love's Truck Stop. Let me make this crystal clear. We were approached by a representative allegedly on behalf of the city, representing Love's Truck Stop, with a proposal that reeked of corruption and deceit. And as we delved deeper into the details, we discovered that the terms were unacceptable. They tried to sweet talk us with a hefty sum of money, but beneath the surface, it was a dirty deal that would have compromised our integrity and values. The terms of the proposal were appalling. A $10,000 upfront payment, followed by an additional $40,000 6 months later, and a final installation of $50,000. Now this is if, we remained silent and did not protest or cause any issues. But here's the kicker. This is the kicker. We were required to keep our mouth shut. We were prohibited to keep the entire agreement confidential, discussing it with anyone or attending public meetings. This stipulation raised significant concerns for us, as it seemed to imply that the city and Love's Truck Stop was trying to keep the project shrouded in secrecy. The thought of being compliant and keeping Joliet's deep, dark secret from the community and the people we care about was unbearable and irresponsible. It was a gag order, plain and simple. What kind of city and company tries to silence citizens like that? What kind of company or city thinks it can buy people's integrity and silence them with a big fat check? The city of Joliet's actions and the actions of Love's Truck Stop were nothing short of reprehensible. They wanted us to be compliant in their dirty dealings to keep their secrets hidden from the public eye. But let me tell you, we weren't born yesterday. We saw right through their tactics, and we weren't having it. We knew that taking their money would mean selling out our community, our friends, and our families. It would mean compromising our values and principles for a quick buck. And let me tell you, we weren't going to let City of Joliet or Love's Truck Stop dictate what we could and couldn't say or be silenced. The fact that City and Love's thought that they could buy us off like that is a slap in the face. It's a clear indication that they don't respect us, they don't respect our community, and they don't care about doing what's right. They're more interested in lining their own pockets and pushing through their own agendas no matter the cost. Our decision wasn't about being difficult or stubborn. It was about standing up for what we believe in, being truthful with ourselves, in our own community. Well, I've got news for you, City of Joliet and Love's Truck Stop. We won't be silenced and we won't be intimidated. We're proud of our decision to stand up for what's right, even if it means going against the city and Love's corrupt interest. And to those of you who have been spreading rumors that we were taken care of or that we somehow benefited from this situation or we had our opportunity, let me set the record straight right now. That's a lie. We're not beholden to anyone, and we've always acted with integrity. Our hands are clean, and we will continue to stand up for what's right no matter what. On the other hand, there are council members sitting right in front of me that voted for this Love's Truck Stop. So I have to ask you, who or what influenced your decision? Were you taken care of? Are your hands clean? We are proud of our decision, and we're committed to being transparent and honest with our community. So City of Joliet, listen up. If you want to earn back the trust of your citizens, you need to start being transparent, honest, and respectful. You need to stop trying to buy people off and start doing what's right. Because if you don't, we're going to keep calling you out, and we won't stop until you're accountable for your actions. Thank you for your time, and I hope this clears up any misconceptions about our family's decision when we turned down the proposal from Love's Truck Stop and the City of Joliet. So let's put this rumor to rest and try to work together with this development. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council this evening? Okay, seeing none, we have mayor and council comments.
Me? I just want to say have a happy, safe 4th of July, and happens to be my husband's birthday, so happy birthday to Mike.
Happy birthday, Mike. Safe July 4th for everyone. And watch your animals, because if they're outside, they get very scared when they see those fireworks. And we don't want to be losing our love furry balls. So happy 4th of July.
Happy birthday to your husband, and everybody have a happy 4th of July, and please be safe, and as well, keep your pets inside. Thank you.
Happy birthday to Sherry's husband, who I call Uncle Bear. And also I wanted to thank the councilmen and women that stood with District 5 on the very serious safety issue. God bless America.
Very energetically celebrate our independence, but do it safely.
You don't like my husband, Larry? What?
I don't want to spoil him.
Happy birthday, Mike. Mayor, I'm going to defer our trip to Monroe, if you'll talk about it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll let you hit it. Yeah, that's fine.
You brought them here, Joe. I would.
Happy birthday, Mike, and just have everyone have a safe, happy 4th of July.
My turn?
Yep. Good.
Happy birthday, Mike. I did a few things over the last week or two. On Tuesday, June 24th, I went and met with a group of students participating in a 12-week course sponsored by a grassroots organization, including Tomorrow Starts Today, led by Jerron Neighbors, in partnership with Give Back organization of Lockport. Joining me were Judge Colette Stafford and Joliet Township High School Board member and I believe President Michelle Stiff. We spoke to the students about the importance of living and learning in peace and our shared responsibility as leaders and mentors to help create that environment. On another morning, I went to the following day. I went to the Chamber's legislative breakfast at Harrah's, and we heard some good insight from our state leaders. That was the next day I went to the eye-opener breakfast at Tuscany Falls with CED and joined several of our regional leaders to talk about everything that's going on with our county, led by Doug Pryor, who does a great job. On the 25th, Jan and I joined Double J's on their 25th anniversary. It was a whole lot of fun, and we really celebrated. Jeff does a great job over there, and that's why he's still in business. Joe, what day did we visit?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So Wednesday, Joe and I went and visited Monroe Truck. Monroe Truck has a small facility over by the old Silver Cross campus. And Joe's friends with one of the guys that leads that company, and was able to get them to stay in Joliet with a new 300,000 square foot facility. They upfit snow blowers for O'Hare. I mean, it's unbelievable what they do there. And as they grow, they're going to employ over 120 people in manufacturing. These are the jobs we're looking for. So I want to say thanks to Joe for his connection and his steadfast work to keep them in our community. They were looking somewhere else, so grateful to that. They love Joliet. They love the employees here, so that was another good event. On the 27th, Larry Walsh Jr. and I did some treading work for the community. We do this every year. Looks like it was windy. My hair doesn't look that great, but that's okay. Yesterday, I spoke with the Kiwanis Club and just kind of went through what we did, the state of the city. And they're really a wonderful organization. Most of their efforts are towards our youth, so we talked about having over 40,000 kids under the age of 18. That's their focus, and I was really grateful to have a few minutes with them. And last but not least, I would like to wish everyone a happy and wonderful and safe 4th of July. Enjoy this country. You know, it's the home of the free because of the brave, and God bless Joliet. Thank you.
Okay, I did receive a request for closed session. Is there a motion to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance, pending or threatened litigation, after which the meeting will adjourn?
So move.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman?
Aye.
Councilwoman Reardon? Aye. Councilman Cardenas?
Aye.
Councilman Clement?
Aye.
Councilman Hugg?
Aye.
Councilwoman Ibarra?
Aye.
Councilman Moreno?